Welcome to Pet Pals. I'm Dee Dee and this is Randy, and we're here at Frederick County Animal Control and Pet Adoption Center on Rosemont Avenue. As we do every week, we're going to bring you some adoptable animals who are available at the shelter. And as we get 10 to 15 animals every day, we always have new animals to show you. And you can check out pettango.com if you want to see animals pretty quickly once they're made available for adoption. And you can even request an email at that site for certain breeds of dogs or colors of cats or whatever you might want to be alerted of. Our first guest today is Mercy. And Mercy has the sad story of being dropped off at the shelter at an advanced age of 14. Now, it is going to take a special person to take her on because while she's been screened by a vet, and that means that, you know, she's okay to go to a new home. Because she's 14, anyone who adopts her is going to have to understand that they may only have her a year, 2 years, 3 years. It'll be a short time, just because of the longevity of dogs. And certainly it's possible for dogs to live 18 years, but it rarely happens. So we just don't believe in not offering a perfectly friendly dog for adoption because of age. Age is not enough of a reason to prevent her from having that chance at a new home. We do have in Frederick, believe it or not, a number of people who purposefully come in and adopt older dogs. They enjoy taking on the seniors and giving them a nice retirement. They have some pluses in that they have lots of experience to share with families. And Mercy right now, she's a pretty confident dog. She's a little nervous when she came in to be in a new situation and waited a moment to eat her treats. But she's completely willing to hop off Randy's lap and run around in here. So, although the neck massage is winning her over. So we think that she has a lot to offer someone despite the fact that she's an elderly little dog and she's gonna need someone who is, you know, prepared to care for her. Our next guest is China, and we don't actually know her real name. This little dog was found by a family that already had 2 big dogs, and they took her in and tried to find her owner. And what is great about them doing so is, though it delayed her coming here by about a week, so that whoever's looking for her can find her, they were able to tell us she got along with their 2 dogs, she got along with everyone in their family. We have found here in the shelter that she sits when you ask her to. She's a really great little dog. Unfortunately, they were not able to find her owner and we were not able to find her owner, so she is now available for adoption. Clearly, she likes people to touch her. That's obvious. And she's really a great dog. She's been handling the kennel experience very well. And what I mean by that is there are times during the day, for example, when someone is walking through the kennel with keys, unlocking all the cages, taking dogs outside one by one, or walking down the row of kennels with a feed cart and feeding the animals their meals, where there's a lot of jumping, barking, excitement. And in that time of all that increased energy, we can often see the dogs that are experiencing stress from it. Oh, China is just resilient. That's all fine with her. She gets excited for her food and her walks. She recovers right away and has just a great attitude, which terriers are known for. So she is going to make somebody a really great pet. And one of the things she has going against her is she's primarily a pit bull, if not all American Pit Bull Terrier. So that means that there are some landlords who will restrict her from living in apartments. But as long as you don't have that barrier in your way, she's a pretty dog and has a great attitude and some training behind her. So I think she's going to make somebody a really great pet. If you think that she would be a good match for you or someone that you know, then come by the shelter and meet her or pass her information along to them so they can come in and see if she's a good fit. Our next guest is Moose, and Moose is clearly a boxer. He is 6 years old, and he is used to kids and has lots of experience to offer and is going to make somebody a really great pet. one of the things that the people who relinquished him warned us about is that he chases cats and it cannot be trusted around chickens. So if you don't have chickens in your apartment or house, then you'll be okay. But we do like it when people can give us the profile of the dog that they're relinquishing. And sometimes it helps them too, because they're going to feel better knowing that they've passed on a dog's likes and dislikes in hopes that we're going to make a very good match for him. He is typical of a boxer. He's very muscular and very fit, very active, very friendly, wags his tail all the time. He doesn't know that he's not a lap dog. And so if you like boxers, then you're going to like Moose. If you are not currently looking for a dog, then there are some things you can do to help Moose. One of them would be to go to pettango.com and find the link to his profile and share it on your social networking sites. Another thing you can do using PetTango or Pet Finder is to print his profile and hang it up someplace in your neighborhood or at your office where you're able to get the word out. There are still a lot of people in Frederick and the surrounding area who don't know that where our shelter is, or that we have so many wonderful adoptable dogs. And there are plenty of people who, like boxers, have always wanted a boxer and would make a really great match for Moose. And because he's middle-aged, then we're looking for someone who wants either the advantage of not raising a puppy while still having a friendly, active dog, or perhaps somebody who is interested in helping a dog that it needs, he's still active and in his prime, that needs to have a companion that will take him out and about, do things with him that are fun, and be ready for his middle age. So if you think that you can offer that for Moose, then let us know. Come in and meet him and see if he's a good match for you. Do you want my coffee? You don't need coffee. Our next guest is Rex. And Rex is a brindle bulldog mix with just a great face. He's such a cute dog. He sits when you ask him to. He's about 5 years old. And his family gave him up because for financial reasons, and they had to move out of their home also for financial reasons. I think one of the hardest things for people in economic hard times is that pets are often the the biggest victims of loss of income, loss of stability, because we can let them go. Because there are animal shelters, there's a place for them to go. When you are thinking that you have to cut cost in every possible way, you can sell your car, you can sell belongings, and one of the things you can do is you can rehome your pet. Now, a lot of times people who hear the stories of dogs like Rex think it's pretty rampant, that people are just dumping pets left and right. And certainly if you work in a shelter, you can get that impression. But always remember that there are estimated by the American Veterinary Medical Association and the American Pet Products Manufacturers Association, 220 million pets in the United States, 220 million. Fewer than 8 million, and probably more like 6 million, ever see the inside of any shelter. And half of those are reclaimed by their owners, taken by rescues, adopted by new families. So what I'm trying to tell you is that less than 2% of animals ever need a shelter, and some of those are just strays that are reclaimed. So really, less than 1% of the pet population gets in real trouble. And that is saying a lot, because even in these hard economic times, most people don't give up their pets. They find a way. But when people have no other options and they bring their animals to the shelter, then we want to be able to give them a second chance. So Rex is looking for that, and he certainly has a lot to offer. And of course, whenever you are interested in a pet, you should come into the shelter and meet them all, look at their profiles, see what you think, and tell us what you're interested in doing with your new pet, and we will help you make a good choice. Our next guest is Molly. And I always like to remind you that we have more than dogs and cats. And certainly, even though we showed you small Mercy and then 3 big bully breeds, we have plenty of dogs in the shelter right now. We have Great Pyrenees, we have several miniature pinschers, we have other types of dogs that you should come in and see. We have a couple puppies. We don't usually put the puppies on the show because we take 4 applications for them and they're adopted pretty quickly, but it is always a changing population. And I didn't want you to forget that we have rabbits, sometimes birds, we have guinea pigs, sometimes rats, and fish. We have little guppies now, and we have some goldfish. So if you have been thinking about getting a pet, you might want to check Pet Tango and see what we have. Molly is a perfect example of the variety. She's been here for a while. She is a 2-year-old beautiful Rex bunny that was purchased at Rick's Fish and Pet a couple years ago. So she was already spayed when her family got her, and she has experience being a family pet, which means that makes it easy for her to understand when people want to hold her, that they're probably not going to eat her. We also have some beautiful mini Rex bunnies here from a breeder who were living in a hutch. So they're much younger. They're gonna need a little bit of work for them to understand that when people scoop them up, it's not dangerous in some way. Rex bunnies have no guard hairs, so they have a very beautiful, plush, short, thick, dense coat, and curly whiskers sometimes. So Molly is, and female bunnies have that dewlap under their chin, which you can see right now while Randy's petting her. It's normal, and what they use it for is it helps them care for their babies because they will pull some of the fur off of that skin, the extra skin under their chin to line their nest. And also when the babies are little, they can huddle and curl up under there. Since Molly is spayed, you do not need to worry that she will surprise you with some babies. And spaying is also important for bunnies for a couple of health reasons, but also because unspayed female rabbits can be really territorial about their pen. And that makes them learning to have you scoop them up to pet them if you would like to, a little harder on them because they worry that you might be infringing on their territory. So spaying helps behaviorally as well, and we recommend it. It can't be done by every veterinarian. Veterinarians that specialize in rabbit care are required for that. And we take care of spaying and neutering the bunnies before you take them home. But if you decide to get a rabbit from another source, just look into that before you make your final decision. If you think that any of the animals you've seen on the first segment of our show would make a good match for someone you know what to do. Share them on Facebook, print their Pet Finder or Pet Tango profile and put it up somewhere. Tell people, or come in and meet them if it's gonna be something for your own family, and we'll help you make a good match. We're gonna take a short break and we're gonna come back with more animals on Pet Pals. Hope you join us. Welcome back. We are bringing you now some adoptable cats from Frederick County Animal Control and Pet Adoption Center on Rosemont Avenue. And we're going to start out with beautiful Snickers. Snickers is a Duluth tortoiseshell cat. She is about 2 years old, and she lives with a cat named Buffy, and her family was having to keep them in the basement. And I'm not sure at this point if that was a finished basement or not, but I think it probably was. and they were unable to keep them and brought them here to relinquish. So one of the things that people often think about cats in the shelter is that it might be hard for them to be in cages, and certainly that can be the case. However, I always like to remind you that if you go to a strange place, New York, Paris, something like that, that you actually will want a small little box to keep your stuff in and someplace you can sleep. It's called a hotel room. So sometimes when cats come here, because it's a strange place, they are comforted by that. They have their litter box there and some bedding and toys. No one can pop in unannounced because there's only one door in the front. And they're able to collect themselves and get comfortable. Now, certainly once they've been here for a little while, of course they would love to come out and stroll around. And we have volunteers that spend time with the cats, taking them out. Obviously, when you come in to visit a cat, they get to come out. We have the kitty cabana, where cats that have been here for a while and get along with other cats can live in an entire room where they can climb all around and have shelves and hammocks and cat tree. But the idea of the shelter is that it is temporary, like a hotel. We're here to medically screen them and care for them until they can have the ultimate placement, which is in a home with someone who is their own person. So if you think that Snickers would make a good match for you or someone that you know, then let us know. We would like to get them all out of here. And this time of year, it can be a little bit hard because we have so many kittens in the shelter. The older cats can be bypassed. Our next guest is Butters. And I suspect, I don't have to say anything. Butters is a 3 or 4 month old kitten. He has long hair. He is a cream-colored tabby. He has the longest whiskers I've seen in a long time on a kitten, and he's a doll. The problem for Butters is we have about 25 of them here, of all colors, all kinds of coat lengths, ages anywhere from 3 weeks younger than he is to 3 months older. We have some teenager kittens. And so this time of year, while the new kittens are starting to taper off coming in, we have kittens like Ducky, a short-haired black cat who's basically grown up here. He came here in April, he's been here since then, and just now got adopted. And the problem isn't that they're not beautiful and healthy and that they're unwanted. People do want kittens. We just get too many. Every year between April and October, we get over 1,000. And I can tell you, there are just not 1,000 people lined up outside the shelter who want a kitten. So if you've been thinking about getting a pet, and a cat might be the right pet, and you're not sure if you want it to be a younger one or an older one, just come in and talk to us. There really is no pressure from us. There will be once you see them because they're all so cute and you're going to feel like you have to take one. But you don't have to worry because healthy, friendly cats that are on our adoption floor are not in danger of being euthanized. The problem that we have is with cats that come in sickly or that behave in some way that's harmful to people that may not make it to the adoption floor. But the cats on the adoption floor are going to be able to stay until they get a home, unless they develop some terminal disease, which is pretty rare. So the pressure only comes from you feeling that you have to take one, and we don't want that. We want you to feel like you can come in and visit, see if anything tugs at your heartstrings, because taking on a pet because you feel badly is usually not going to work long term because, first of all, guilt wears off. But second of all, you've got to feel like they're going to be part of your family, that there's something about the kitten that's a good match for you. So we want you to come and meet them all and see which one is a perfect fit. Now, I can't imagine anyone who wants a kitten and likes kittens not feeling like Butters is a perfect match, but there are reasons that he wouldn't be. Some people like black cats, some people like short-haired cats, some people want an adult cat. But Butters is a doll. I don't think he'll be here very long, but because we have so many, he simply hasn't been chosen yet. Our next guest is Moo. And Moo is a little black and white short-haired kitten, same age as Butters. And he's got a totally different personality, very outgoing, exploratory. And I don't know if you can see in his black markings, but he has tiger stripes in there. So it's not solid black. And he is also making biscuits on Randy. That's an affectionate nursing behavior that cats use for people. Randy's pointing out that his tail is straight up, which is a friendly, outgoing indicator. So what a confident kitten, and that's a great thing if you want to have a cat that's going to be part of family activities. And yes, but hard to hold still. So one of the things that we often talk to people about, and I'm going to see if Moo will let me do it, is trimming their toenails, which he just wants me to rub his head. But it's very easy because you squeeze their toe out like that, and you take a pair of nail clippers that are specially made for kittens, and you clip off the white end of their conical nail. It's a cone-shaped nail, so it's not flat, so you can't use people nail clippers once they're this age or older. On little tiny newborn kittens you can. But the scissors that are made for it have a round shape so that they don't pinch the nail while you're cutting it, and it makes it more comfortable for the cat. But it is a great thing to get your cat used to, and what I recommend is being affectionate with your cat, just like Randy is being, and doing 1 or 2 nails, and then giving him a treat and letting it go. And the next day, you do 1 or 2 nails, and you give him a treat, and you let him go. And before you know it, you will have a cat like mine who holds his feet out for you and says, do more, because they like the treats, they like the affection. And if you do trim your cat's nails, then it is a great way to avoid damage to any fabric if your cat scratches your belongings. But what you also can avoid is this affectionate kitty is using his nails on Randy's knees. So although it's affectionate behavior, it's a little bit uncomfortable. And the other thing that you can do if you don't want to cut your cat's nails, which is fine, is just provide them with a scratching post, reinforce them for scratching it, and chase them off of your other belongings. In the beginning, you cannot give them access to your other belongings while they're in training, because cats will learn, don't scratch the sofa until he goes to bed. And if you teach your cat that the sofa is available only after bedtime, then they will certainly follow that rule. So keeping them in the bathroom for a week when you first get them, and at night while you're asleep until they're trained, is an important part of making sure that you and your cat agree about the house rules. Our next guest is Awesome Sauce, and Awesome Sauce has a sibling who looks very similar, just with no white feet. So of course, if you are looking for 2 cats, then adopting young siblings is sometimes a good way to go. The kittens that you've met today are all graduates of our foster program. We have over 50 families in Frederick that help us by taking kittens into their home when they're too tiny for adoption and raising them up in a situation with, you know, carpeting and other pets and kids and things to do, so that they will be more prepared for the enriched life they're going to have outside of the shelter. And then when they weigh 3 pounds, they bring them into us so that you can see them. And I don't know, a kitten with a name like Awesome Sauce, I don't know how he has stayed here as long as he has, but you can change his name to anything you like. Kittens are very adaptable to what you're going to call them, as are adult animals. If you do choose a pet who seems to be very responsive to his or her name, then all you have to do to change it is, let's say you wanted to name him Murgatroyd. So all you have to do is call him Murgatroyd Awesome Sauce for a week, and you will notice at the end of the week that he doesn't need the awesome sauce part anymore, that he knows Murgatroyd means you're about to say awesome sauce. So you could also name him Mittens, whatever you like. So sometimes it's really important to people to pick a name that has some meaning for them. Sometimes people want, yeah, Randy votes no to Murgatroyd. Sometimes people want a name that signifies the cat to them, what the cat looks like, or something about his personality. And sometimes people just keep the name that we randomly gave them because the name just doesn't matter. It's the personality of the cat, and if they fit in, they fit in. We've had families come that just always name their cat Morris. So whatever you decide to do, Awesome Sauce is going to adjust to. And as you can see, this is an active kitten. It's important when you're choosing a cat, though, that you would come into the shelter more than once if you can to meet them, because this time of day, they have just woken up from sleeping, they've been fed their breakfast, they've taken a short little cat nap, and they are ready to go. Later in the afternoon, they'll all be asleep back there. So if you want to know the personality of the kitten that you're going to take home, I can hear him purring from here.
He's purring.
You're going to benefit from coming more than once and seeing how they adapt to their schedule, because you know they have different activity levels throughout the day, which you will definitely find if you take home a kitten. In the UK, they call the kitten behavior of running around crazy, jumping on walls, seeing Martians. And all kittens do it for a short time each day. And if you want a small fry, then you need to be prepared for that. Our final guest of this episode is Flour or Sugar. This is Flour. And we have a video that we showed you before where I said the exact same thing. This is Flour or Sugar. Because her sister Sugar looked just like her and has since been adopted, and Flour is still here. But we were debating before we started filming if the other video is also Flour. So she is available for adoption, and she's primarily white. She has a few little black hairs on her head. And what surprised me is how long they stayed here, because a lot of times people will tell us they're looking for a certain kind of cat. And in past years, I had several people ask me if we ever get white kittens. But this year, people were asking about long-haired black cats, and we had several requests for that, and also Siamese-marked cats. So while I always say the personality is what's important, and Flour has a beautiful, playful, gentle kitten personality, people have to first be attracted by something, because when you walk into our cat room, you'll see that there are, we have over 200 animals in our care right now, and more than half of them are cats. And so when you walk into the cat room, you'll just be overwhelmed by the number of animals to choose from. So you have to pare them down in some way, and we've talked about before that one of the ways that you can do that is make yourself a checklist. Are you willing to take a kitten? If not, then you're going to say, I'm only going to look at adult cats. Do you care about the gender, male or female? Do you care if the cat likes any special kind of food, or is used to dogs, or has experience with kids? If you make that kind of a list before you come and let us know, then we can give you a list of animals to choose from that all have that criteria. But do not be concerned at all if you make a list and then you come in and say, actually, I made a list where I wanted a kitten with short hair, and now I've fallen in love with an adult Himalayan. It's okay. We don't care if you stick to your list, but your list will certainly help you pare down. Randy's working on her, what she's doing to the arm of the chair. But since he's playing with her, it's not chair behavior. She's just trying to get the string. So all of those things play into your making the right decision for you. But if you're not looking for a pet right now, you know what to do. Go to Pet Tango, go to Pet Finder, find profiles of animals you care about, share them on social networking, or print their profile and post somewhere. Or you can take the link at the bottom of your screen right now and share it anywhere. It helps us in every way to get the word out. Thanks for joining us on Pet Pals. We'll see you next time.